Welcome back, fellow coders. Jared O'Leary here with Boot Up. This video I'm going to show you how you can make talking sprites in Scratch. So I've got two sprites on the screen right now. What I want to do is make it so that they have costumes where their mouth is closed and where their mouth is open. So I'm going to go to the costumes tab and I'm going to go ahead and edit this first one. So let me zoom in so we can get to Champ 99's face. Now what I want to do is make it so that his mouth moves so that this one is closed and then we'll have one that is open. I'm going to use a stamp and I'm going to click on him. I just made a copy of him. Boop. So now we have two of the same costume. And on the second costume, what I'm going to do is use a select tool. I'm going to highlight his mouth and then I'm going to just drag it down like this. Now I'm going to take my paint bucket and I'm going to fill it in with the color like black. So now when I switch between these two costumes, it makes it look like his mouth is opening and closing. So in order to make it easier for me to know which costume is which, I'm going to label this as Champ A closed. Can't type right now. And then Champ A open. So now I'll know which costume is which just by looking at the name so I can see if it's open or closed. Okay, so another way that you can actually do this, instead of this method, let me show you on Cassie. And I'm going to make a copy of this one as well, and move this back up here, just so it's easier to see. Some television shows will animate by actually moving the whole head up and down rather than the mouth. So I wanted to show you how to do that. So what you can do is just simply grab here, and then just move the head up, so it looks like they're talking by doing that. So some television shows like to do that, so if you want to use this as your method, you can. Just make sure that you're labeling it. So we have closed and the other one was open. Cool. Now we actually need to do something for our code to make it so that these sprites move. So I'm going to create a new function. I'm going to use the messages to do this, and I'm going to say mouth moving. And I'm just going to have it be the same function for both of these sprites. So what I want to do is, I don't know, maybe forever or maybe a set amount of time, is I'm going to switch costumes from the one that it's on to the next one. So I'm going to say go to the next costume, and then I'm going to wait a random amount. So we'll say wait, and then I use the pick random. So what this is going to do is it's going to randomize the mouth moving so it's not just going, but actually looks like they're saying some words. So let's say 0.05 to 0.4, something like that. Okay, now what I want to do is, if we're starting on our closed costume, is we're going to switch to the open one, but then we need to go back. Now, I don't want to use the next costume because it's going to cycle through all of these other ones, and I don't want it to do that. So instead, what I'm going to do is this little hack, if you want to call it something like that, is I'm going to say switch to the costume of the current costume -1. So these three blocks is basically like the same thing as saying, hey, go back to the previous costume, because we're switching costume to our current costume -1, back by 1. And then we are going to wait again, and we'll make this a different random amount. Let's say 0.1 to 0.3. Okay, so now all we have to do is whenever we press the green flag or something, do this. Uh-oh, it messed up. Okay, so this was an intentional mistake. What it's doing right now is it started on our open costume and it's switching to this one. The code's working, it's going back and forth between them, if you'll watch. So it's going back and forth, but I want it to go between these two. So here's a very important thing whenever you're using this message, is you want to tell it which costume to start with, which is why we gave it our easy to use names. So we want to start with a closed mouth and then switch between that and the open one. Cool, so that's working great. So let me show you how it works with Champ 99. So I'm going to take this and drag it on there. And I want it to, at the very beginning, switch to costume with the closed mouth, because otherwise we're going to have the same mistake. Awesome. Let me zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. So now it looks like both of them are talking. So it looks random for both of them, so they're not just going up and down the same timing every single time. So it looks like they're actually moving their mouth. Now, if you want to make it so that they stop moving their mouth, all you have to do is use this stop and say, hey, stop other scripts on this sprite. So for instance, if you want Champ99 to talk for 3 seconds, and then you want him to stop, or maybe you want Cassie to talk for an entire recording, and then you want it to stop, you just use a code like this. So now let's watch. Boop. Green flag. Okay, Cassie stopped after the pop. After 3 seconds, Champ99 stopped. So simple as that. So if you get stuck, check out the quick reference guide. Otherwise, you can watch this video again and make it so that your sprites talk.